Hello everyone, this is Margarita with CityGal Papeterie. Welcome to my channel or welcome back. In today's video, I wanted to share a really small haul from Joann's. I purchased these items recently. I really wanted some Christmassy stuff, so I went to check out what they had, and I bought this Stampers Anonymous Tim Holtz stamp and stencil set. I'll put the name of it on the screen. And then yeah, it's really cute. It comes with the set of stamps, and then it also has a stencil. And then I bought these paper rolls on sale. They are supposed to be for wrapping like bouquets of flowers. But I would be using them for other things. I was thinking of probably making little bags with these. I think that would be really good. A really good idea to use these because they're pretty thin. The paper's pretty thin. So I don't know that I would use it for much else. And then, so I got 2 of those. And they're nice and neutral, so I could use them for different themes and different seasons and holidays. It doesn't have to be anything specific. Yeah, one's grid, one has flowers, and the other one just has some sort of like faded print. And then I bought this Holly Jolly 12 by 12 paper by DCWV, and I decided to challenge myself to use an entire 12 by 12 paper pad. I've never done that before, and I definitely underestimated how long it would take me to do this. But here are the papers. They are really cute. There's some cut aparts. They are double-sided. They have really nice, like soft colored plaids and patterns. This one's got the little snowy houses, and there's like little presents and wreaths that you could cut out. Some of the pages have those pretty metallic details and more simple sketches. Here's some more cut aparts, and these are great for when you want to make super simple cards. I like this pattern paper. You could cut the trees out if you wanted to, or you could use the entire pattern, or you could use the back side. Here's this like forest green with the holly on the back. Another cut apart with strips and some pretty candy canes. The color palette in this paper pad is probably one of my favorites. I don't use a lot of dark green, but that like mint green and the pinks, I really like that. Here's a stripe one, the paper with the Santas. Those are perfect for cutting out. This one has gold words on it, all types of Christmas words. On the back side is the little like winter forest creatures wearing hats and scarves and mittens, just super cute. This one's got snowmen with presents and some like craft supplies on the back. This one has also gold details and the little stockings. Here are some snowflakes and some like winter activity items. Another cut apart. This one is all tags. More gold details and some like pine cones, and that's it. So as you can see, there are 2 of each pattern, and I start by just taking all of the pages out of the actual pad. In this way, I'm not continuously searching through the pad itself. I can just kind of flip through the pages individually, separately, and not have to keep going back and forth in the pad. I tend to kind of just put the pad somewhere and then not return to it. But this way, I don't know, it made me feel more motivated to, keep using the papers. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, I definitely, like I said before, overestimated or underestimated how long it would take me to do this. So I created a bunch of different things that I'll show you in just a moment. But yeah, I got to the point where I got really tired of using this pad and working on this project. And that does happen to me sometimes, where I've kind of maxed out my creative abilities with a certain project, and I just have to kind of end it where I am and just move on to something else. And that's sort of what happened here. So I did create a few projects with this. I made about 24 greeting cards with it. I made some mini albums. I used this olive 6-panel accordion card to make a mini album with. And I even made a traveler's notebook to use as an album as well. But yeah, I reached the point where I kind of just could not make anything else with this paper. I don't know, I ran out of ideas, I ran out of steam, and I was done. So this is what I had left. I had these smaller scraps that I put in a little bag, a few larger scraps that I could still use on cards here or there. And it's just a larger piece. And then I have still this tag cut apart that I used only some of it. The strip cut apart. I like the plaid on the back. One of these snowman sheets. One of these the stocking sheets. One with the pine cones. One with the gold lettering words and the little forest creatures. That's so cute. I'm trying to show you the gold details. So one of these with the little X's on it. I didn't use either of these. I imagine that I'll probably be cutting out a bunch of these little presents to use in other projects. One with the little houses and the polka dots. This is a really nice mint green plaid, and then the Christmas trees. This ornament sheet. One of the Santa sheets. And one of the polka dot sheets. And some of these I'll probably use for scrapbooking layouts. And the rest I'll probably use on cards or other things. So these are the projects that I created using this paper pad. This is a traveler's notebook. Or at least these are the ones that I like to use. It's a 4x8. So my page sizes were 8x8, and then I just fold them in half. And I did add stitching to almost every page, and I tried to also use up some scraps, as you can see in the corner. These are some more scraps that I put on my page as a little tab. Here's another piece of scrap. I tried to arrange my pages so that the left page and the right page coordinated nicely. So lots of free space to use. And this last one has a little belt to tuck something in. And if you're not sure how to use something like this is an example. I use these as mini albums for memory keeping. This is one I've been working on for a little while, and I just have to add a few more things to it. So I just add photos and ephemera pieces. I have to come back and add a few more ephemera and elements to it, and some more like writing, journaling, and things like that in order to complete it. So that's the first project that I completed. Then I made this other small mini album. It says "Have a Very Merry Christmas." It's 4x4, and I sewed pretty much every sheet. Made little pockets, and I added a lot of scrap pieces for details. And I also made these little ruffled paper pieces, and I cut out some of the elements from the pattern papers as well. So really cute. And again, I'll show you an example of how you could use this type of mini album. As you can see, it's the same exact size. I used some string instead of the rings. And this is how I just use these small albums. I like to use them to hold photos of my children. I do also add little notes here and there. And lots of ephemera pieces and pieces of scrap paper. Yep, so that's the second project I made. Here's another mini album. I tied some ribbon around so it looks like a little gift. There's some more paper ruffles at the bottom. The little deer that I cut out from a tag. Here's a pocket with a few tags in it. A flip page with some wording. It says Happy Holidays. A little polar bear I cut out from somewhere else. Plenty of space for photos and little notes. Here's another pocket with more tags. This is a flip page. It has another pocket with just some little pieces of like matte paper for photos. Another pocket on the inside with more little journaling pieces, journaling cards. And back to the beginning. So it's got kind of an accordion style, but I didn't have a base for this one. I created this one just using the papers from the paper pad. And then here's one more mini album. This is probably my favorite project from this paper pad. And it is the accordion card that you saw at the beginning. There's the title page, Joy, Peace, Love, with the little Santa. And then these are the pages from the mini album. More paper ruffling. Here I added these little stockings that I cut out from that pattern paper. And I also cut the little turtleneck sweater out from the pattern paper. There's a little Santa. Again, I try to leave space for journaling and for photos. And now this is the back, and then it's going to continue on the back side of the accordion. I added this jumbo paper clip to hold these little elements in place in that pocket. And here's another page with a little cluster and a Happy Christmas page. It's a flip top page with a pocket on the side. And I added some of the jumbo tags in there. And the next page is the last page. As you can see, more spaces for pictures. And then these are just a bunch of pieces of scrap that I cut into strips, stapled together, and then layered them on there to give it the shape of a Christmas tree. So now these are the cards. I made 24 greeting cards with this paper pad. This is probably one of the simple ones. I added some stitching on the edges, a background, and some stickles for glitter. Same here, I added some stitching on the sides. I used up some scrap paper and added some glitter. This one, I think they all have stitching pretty much. This one's got a nice border stitching. I cut the Merry Christmas from one of the cut aparts. I added a doily to this one, and there's the stitching all the way around. And then another little cluster. There's also some stitching behind the Santa. And the inside looks like that for all of the cards. They're all just blank inside. And another one, again, with the stitching around the border and the little stockings and the simple merry and bright sentiment that's from the stamp set. And the season's greetings here is from a cut apart. I cut out the Santa from one of those pattern papers. Same as the little stamp. There's the sewn edge, and for this one I distressed the edges of the green paper as well. Added a little fishtail banner and the stamp. Next one, same. I tried to add some stitching. I added a journaling card. There's some more stitching. A pretty gold scalloped piece of paper on the back. For this one I used some scrap strips and I quilted them. I weaved them together and then added some stitching so it looks like a big quilt. The little polar bear on the top that I fussy cut out of one of the papers. And this one's got a really nice large sized paper ruffle on the side. with some zigzag stitching and that cute little snowman stamp. Added some glitter to that as well. And for this one I added that solid red background with some embossed texture on it, some stitching of course, and some glitter added to the snowman. The Time for Cookies and Cocoa sentiment actually comes from an ephemera pack that I had lying around. I didn't know what else to put on there. Here's some more paper ruffling and a doily and more glitter. I love these. I love the colors from this paper pad. And this is probably one of my favorite cards. Again, I distressed the edges. I added some stitching, some glitter of course, and I elevated that little flower that I cut from the background piece. I put it on some foam. For this one I sewed a pocket onto my background, and then I tucked in the "Oh What Fun" piece and a banner behind that, and then I just glued them in place so they won't fall out. For this one I used some of the strips from that strip cut apart paper. There's no sewing on this one. For this one I also added a paper ruffle, some stitching, a distressed tag, some little presents that I cut from a different pattern paper, ribbon, and a nice green border. For this one I was kind of, this is when I started running out of steam here. This one's more simple, but I used some scraps, added some glitter. And for this one I used the Merry Merry Merry. I cut it out of one of the tags, and then I used some pieces of scrap in the background. This is a little piece of ribbon that I added to the side, and here's another. Added some stitching at the top, little presents, a little cluster with the snowflake and the Christmas tree. For this one I did like an inlay, so that's a frame, a red and white frame around the green pattern paper, and then I added the tag with some foam tape to give it some dimension. And this one same, I added some stitching. This one I added an embossed background and some stitching and some glitter. And for the next one I used one of the journaling cutout cards. I cut out the Santa from one of the pattern papers. I added some solid green paper to this one to break up some of the patterns. For this one I just added a little cluster onto the embossed paper, and then my little Santa Claus. For this one I used 3 of the tags, and I elevated them on foam tape and added them to that pattern paper background with the craft supplies. And then for this one I used a half of a tag that was left over, elevated it with the little wording, more of that paper ruffle on the side. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are all of the cards that I made, the mini albums and the journal. And like I said, I kind of wanted to keep going, but I just could not. I couldn't keep going. Please stay tuned for my next video. It's gonna be recycling Christmas cards. I hope you got some ideas from this. Thank you so much for watching and for your support always. I hope you guys are enjoying the holiday season.